The government of the Republic of Mali decides to denounce with immediate effect the agreement of March 7 and 8, 2013, which determines the status of the French detachment of the Barkhane force, and the additional protocol of March 6 and 10, 2020, which determines the status of foreign detachments of the Takuba force.
Let's get some more analysis on the situation and cross over to consultant analyst at the Gulf State Analytics, Corrado Cok, who joins me now from Nairobi. Corrado, good to see you. As far as I remember, French forces were warmly welcomed when they first arrived in Mali almost a decade ago. Why did their presence all of a sudden become very unpopular?
So basically what we have seen over the past 10 years almost is been a growing fatigue on both sides. So on the Malian side, of course, they're seeing as the mission, despite pulling back the Islamist forces, they're now being able to stabilize the country and free completely from what were the militias operating first in the north and then in central Mali. So as instability has grown and the country, of course, has grown weakened economically also and politically, then the mission has become more and more as ineffective in the eyes of the Malians. And this is combined with a growing number of also political leaders, actors, also religious leaders, openly spoken against the French presence in the country.
Let me ask you about the feeling of that mission objective. I mean, is there a feeling that with the might and ability of France's military power, they should have made more progress to solve the terror problem? Otherwise, it's just seen as some sort of occupation by former colonizers.
This is true, actually, and there is actually a point in that. And the problem is that this kind of insurgencies, like the one we have seen, which have always been seen through a very security, terrorist versus state kind of lenses, they are not actually that effective. I mean, they are not actually the true analytical lens to see this. I mean, you cannot solve this kind of insurgencies where there are also ethnic boundaries behind the fight, where there are climatic drivers, when there are development issues at the local level in areas of the country they're no longer suitable for let's say sustain human life in great numbers. Then you cannot only solve this kind of issues through a military intervention. This is what the international community has stressed many times. This is why also in other countries, similar interventions have not worked out well, or at least have not had a definite fight against this type of forces. And this is why also, in the end, the French have felt the fatigue themselves and decided to pull back to some extent.
Corrado, I mean, there is a different element, there is a different angle to this fallout. I want to ask you about the role, the decision by the military junta in Mali to invite the Russian mercenary group, the Wagner group. I mean, that must have been sort of the last nail in the coffin in terms of relations.
That was actually definitely the last nail, but also I'd say a game changer, because what we have seen is a new dynamic region-wide, because the Wagner military is taking footholds also in the Central African Republic and other countries of Africa, and that of course created a direct, let's say, intrusion of a hostile power in what the French could consider their own sphere of influence, and that of course that we've seen the reaction from the Élysée that had already been at loggerheads with the Malian junta over the takeover of the country in 2020 and again in 2021. But that of course was a warning sign in Paris that, of course, triggered a series of reactions that led us to the situation where we are right now.
Okay. Corrado Cok from Gulf State Analytics, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate the analysis.